Hey, what's up everyone? Jesse Time 159 here today, presenting to all of you another episode of Angry Birds Seasons Remastered. In today's episode, we're going to play through part 2 of Piglantis. And look, I apologize if I've already completed these levels, but my last recording was not great, so I have to re-record this again. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. And if you guys do, then please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss a video on this channel. And if you're interested for more content like this, then, like I said, hit the bell icon to never miss a video. If you guys are interested in seeing my content on other platforms, however, then I recommend clicking links in the description to visit me on Odyssey and Rumble. And with that out of the way, let's play through part 2 and see if I can beat my previous best scores in my re-recording of this episode. Right. Wait, some of these levels are tricky to beat, like this one. How do I beat this one? I missed. I suppose maybe I can do this. Let's try that again to see if I can make it work. Because I know it worked last time. In my last replay of this episode. Let's see if it works again. Please work. Please work. Yes! So, speaking of which, I want to know, what my community likes to do in spring break. Do you guys like to, I guess, like, spring break hobbies? Like playing video games, playing sports, riding the bike, hanging out with your best friends, anything like that? If you guys enjoy any of these things, feel free to let me know in the comments. What you guys like to do in the spring. Because the reason I'm asking is because, like, I want to connect more with my audience. I want to know what they like. And what they don't like. That's all. I don't want to be one of those big grand YouTubers where like people are treated as just viewers. Like, I want to show that, like, I care about other people. So, yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments. With that out of the way, I'll get over, like, what I like to do in spring break. I like to play video games, ride my bike, and, yeah. Sorry about that, sorry about that little moment. So yeah, I like to play video games, ride my bike, I suppose playing sports as well. Since Does riding bikes technically count as a sport? Or does it not? I'm sorry. I haven't been in this situation like long enough to know that. That didn't work. Okay, I gotta destroy these blocks. And tumble these pigs over. Ah, not too bad. And speaking of which, I gotta say this out loud. Lots of people have been asking for Rovio to like return to old games once again. But they've technically did that already with Angry Birds Reloaded. Now that Angry Birds Stella is being added to the game list for Reloaded to be reimagined. What I want more than the original games to be brought back is for them to like make a console port of Angry Birds 2, because that has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. And suppose could do well for Rovio if handled right. If you guys don't know, Rovio was doing a survey in their Discord server, talking about like what games people want to be ported to other platforms like Nintendo Switch, or PC, or Steam, or anything like that. They were handing out like a survey in Google Forms as like what games people want to see on other platforms. The list they had consists of Angry Birds Classic, Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Go, Angry Birds Epic, Angry Birds 2, Angry Birds Dream Blast, and Angry Birds Bounce. Now look, some people will say, I know Rovio stated that like this for research purposes only. But now that like there's been a report that like Rovio is like hiring people to port their games to other platforms. Hiring people with experience in coding to port games to other platforms like Nintendo Switch. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Rovio stated that like they're hiring fans with coding experience in C++ to like port their games to other platforms, like Nintendo Switch. I suppose like one of the games they want to port is Angry Birds 2. And look, I'm gonna say this like, for now it's probably like research purposes. Like, sure, some people could argue for now it's like research purposes, like nothing good's gonna come out of this. But I wouldn't be so sure. Because like, Rovio's trying to do everything to like make their movie more popular. With new merchandise, like new plushies. As well as trying to like expand their IP to like other properties like Sonic Race and Crossworlds having Redbird DLC. Angry Birds 2 has like Space and Stella representation with like the space event and Dolly being added in as Shade. Angry Birds Bounce had similar representation with Iceberg and Willow in its later updates. Angry Birds Stella and Angry Birds Space are becoming expanded upon with new levels. In Reloaded, and now that Rovio's hiring newer developers with experience in coding, in Unity, I feel like what Rovio's doing right now is trying to make the most out of what they have currently. And then when the Angry Birds Movie 3 comes out, and hopefully makes like Sega tons of money, what I think they're going to do is, if the Angry Birds Movie 3 becomes successful, what I suppose Rovio will do is like use that money. What I think is a possibility is that Rovio will use that money to remaster classic games for modern platforms. Because trust me, like, make these games playable on all platforms is harder than the fans think it is. Because it's one thing for the fans to make Angry Birds refixed. It's one thing for Angry Birds fans to make a mod of Angry Birds to fix its issues. It's another thing for Rovio to like remake these games from scratch on a newer engine. And yet people call Rovio Classics Angry Birds lazy. Yeah, right. And people like the Andres TX, one of the Angry Birds fans, accuses Rovio Classics Angry Birds of being lazy. And besides, like, I'm gonna call out Maximus Overdrive on this, one of the Angry Birds fans. Why did you say bring back 2012? Why did you say bring back 2012? Lots of people wanted Angry Birds to be 2012. Like they didn't understand that Angry Birds wasn't just popular in like 2012. They were popular in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016 even. And because the 2012, Rovio only included episodes from 2012. First half of 2012 anyway. It's like monkey paw thing. We're like, be careful what you wish for. What Maximus Overdrive should have put in the hashtag instead was bring back classic Angry Birds. Unfortunately, people are like, bring back 2012, bring back 2012, when they should be saying, bring back classic. They should have said, bring back classic. Bring back classic Angry Birds. Like, or just hashtag bring back classic. Because you guys got what you wanted. 2012 version of Angry Birds in Rovio Classics Angry Birds. And while that version has its fans, and people who actually like the version, myself included, lots of people were straight up appalled by it. Just because the fans weren't careful for what they wished for. What joy. Really shows how desperate people are in the Angry Birds community and PvZ community, to a point where you don't exactly think things through. Like, it shows that, like, sometimes their brains just don't work. Only for them to blame Rovio for what they did, just because it wasn't like their highest expectations. Shows how desperate people are. And shows how much they think. And shows how much they care about the franchise. In fact, I would argue the company is doing better than the fans at this point. I would argue games like Angry Birds Reloaded, Angry Birds Bounce, and Angry Birds 2 are what's keeping Angry Birds afloat. I know a lot of people like to complain about like Angry Birds 2 having microtransactions and whatnot, but I still think Angry Birds 2 is still a good game, despite its updates. I still think Angry Birds 2 is still a very good game despite its flaws. I would give Angry Birds 2 a 7 out of 10. Just like I gave Plants vs. Zombies 2 a 7 out of 10, in that now a delisted review on my channel. Okay, it's not delisted, I deleted it. I delete it because like I want to make like some changes to it. Ignore that screaming, that's just my family. That's just my nephew screaming in the background because he's playing with my sister. Don't worry about it. Do you see that? 720 points. Looks like Yellowbird really hit him with the 720 no-scope. So yeah, I'd argue Rovio's doing pretty good strides. Rovio's taking good strides to like bring back the classic era. With Angry Birds Reloaded, Angry Birds Flock Party, Angry Birds 2 having space and stellar representation, Angry Birds Bounce being a great and excellent spin-off even, as well as like several other things. Angry Birds 2 and Angry Birds Bounce having tons of Stella and space representation. Okay, not tons of it, but still worthwhile. And Angry Birds Bounce going strong. Yeah, ignore that background noise, it's just my nephew playing around. Anyways, with that, we are done with today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. And why not check out my videos on other platforms like Odyssey and Rumble. And get sneak peeks on Discord for seeing videos before they come out. With that, we're done with today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace, ladies and gentlemen, and take care.